James and I just saw Blink Twice, Zoë Kravitz's directorial and I think co-writer debut. I loved it, and I didn't think I was going to love it. I remember even kind of, joking when we saw the trailer, kind of rolling our eyes like, oh, like we've seen this all before, but there was a lot of twists that felt like they were earned. There was a lot of turns. I just really overall enjoyed it. I thought it was a really good thriller. I thought it was really well written, really well acted. I loved a lot of the shots. I felt like there was a lot of things that were like homages to different films that I noticed. I loved the style of the whole thing. I liked the tone. Anything you want to say about the gist?
Overall, I liked it. The reveal, I was kind of like, oh. For some reason, I thought it was a little bit rushed, almost like they just like, almost like it went by me, and then I was like, oh, that was it. Oh, that's what's happening. Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. But it wasn't like, it didn't like, for some reason I didn't find it like shocking at all or something like that. But maybe that's the point.
Mm-hmm. Anything more you want to say about the gist?
I really liked it. I love current day Haley Joel Osment, one of my favorite actors to watch. It's always fun to see him on screen. Channing Tatum, probably some of the best I've seen him. He's really great when he's cast in the right roles. I really love Aaliyah Shawkat. You know her as the cousin from Arrested Development and Search Party. Really, really great actress. Always fun to watch her.
I was actually like, I think Channing Tatum is like good in like comedy. I was actually very surprised of his emotional range in this movie. The most I've ever been surprised in my entire life.
And I think the reason he was so great is a lot of the beats of this film are very much from comedy. There's a lot of jokes and a lot of laughter, but obviously, as you know from the trailer, it's all too good to be true, right? So there's always that sinister underbelly. So I think because Channing has so much practice with comedy, and that's where he's really shined a lot over the more recent years. It was really great to see him have an opportunity to kind of show his range. Yeah.
Okay, can we talk about spoilers?
Spoiler alert!
Spoiler alert. If you're going to see the movie, stop listening to the podcast now because you're going to have it spoiled for you. I agree with you. The initial reveal about they're making them forget so that they can sexually assault and abuse them and kind of have this like...
They're causing trauma, which obviously...
Jeffrey Weinstein type island thing.
Yeah, so most of it was sexual assault.
But I initially was like, oh... Like, that's kind of like, it's horrible that my thought was like, is that it? Like, you know what I mean? Like, and then like, oh, that's like low-hanging fruit.
They're doing a science experiment almost.
But what I did enjoy about it is that like, there was multiple twists after that. That wasn't just it. Like, when I thought like, oh, okay, now this is like kind of this revenge horror, like, kind of like I just thought it was so interesting. The venom was the thing that would have them remember. So they were having this like woman go around and like killing the snakes. And that like once the women remembered, it's like, I thought it was so funny too, how like once the women remembered and started like fighting back and catching the guys off guard, they were all little fucking bitches. They were like the biggest fucking little bitches. And the only thing that had them not be little bitches was the fact that like they had no repercussions for their actions. And I loved the theme and through line and like symbolism around like forgetting and forgiveness and like all of the like connections that it made to like what's happening in our world right now, not just with actual sexual abuse and like women being assaulted, but just everything. You know, like when they talked about how like that at first that young guy, I was like, is that this young guy also being abused?
He was like a control, I thought, is how I kind of looked at it. So he couldn't remember anything either. But he did have a black eye, so I think they were also abusing him.
I think so too.
Like beating him up and stuff.
No, I think they were sexually abusing him as well.
Probably sexually abusing him.
He was gay.
But,
I think they were making like a point.
But he did.
I think his character was gay.
At least Channing's character kind of called him out as like, why didn't you do anything? Like when everyone else was getting assaulted. So, but you're probably right. Maybe they did both. I mean, maybe part of the trauma was watching other people be traumatized.
Yeah, I mean, I just loved, it just made me think of just all the things that are happening in our world right now, and for everything. Like, you hear these stories about people getting murdered and assaulted and yada, 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 and, like, you find out that there was all these people around when it was happening.
Sure.
And everyone was just too scared to do anything because they didn't want to, like, do something for themselves. And
nobody pays attention, or nobody investigates or is curious, because they might find out something and they don't.
For sure, and people just want to live in their own little like delusional world. But I loved the also like because there was like a couple little like shifts, I feel like, where it like went in a direction I didn't kind of see it going in, like her having him start to forget, and Gina Davis also like having
they remembered. They're not forgetting, they're remembering.
Yeah. They're remembering.
Yeah.
No, but she had him start to forget what had happened. She started giving him the perfume. That was the whole thing at the end of where she got to run the empire, because she kept him stupid.
Yeah.
Because he couldn't remember anything. Like, I didn't see that coming. I don't know if like the Gina Davis character was like his mom or his like secretary or whatever. And like, I don't know, there was just a couple little like things of even her saying like the thing of like, I didn't want to remember. And they're just going to do whatever they're going to do. And it's like, it's better just to forget. Like it felt like it was making a comment about like an older society of women that's literally what they've done to be able to exist in the world. Like if you look at our moms, like the things that they've seen and experienced, and women in their generation have experienced. So very clearly from an authentic woman's perspective, which is probably why I really fucking liked it. But also it looks like I have to look up who E.T. is. Whatever, who she co-wrote it with. I'm assuming it's a man because there's so many male screenwriters. But I also think, whoever it is, good job on pairing her with someone who knew how the structure of like a film and stuff like that. Anything else you want to say about the twist or anything?
No. Go see it.
Support women filmmakers.
Yeah.
Support black filmmakers.
Hey, Zoë Kravitz.
Support Nepo babies. Just kidding.
Support Nepo babies.
Hey, at least she's earning it. So I'm sitting here reflecting with my friend Ashley as we do our podcast co-working calls. And I literally just got, for me, the film felt like a the film Get Out, but for women, which I thought was really, really cool.